congratulations with a second season. What made the first season so successful?
Oh,
The two of us, Nancy. That's all it was. What do you
um,
think? I like to think it's very, very good writing, genuinely. And I guess maybe getting an actor that really wants to have fun with that writing and like put their play on it, but understands what the writing is trying to do. And I think as a team, me and Emer sort of, without knowing each other at all, became this like unit of a team that wanted to make the best show we could do and became a sort of like a little like duo to do
yeah,
that. And I
yeah,
do think that really helped.
and I think also, um, it felt like Karen, as a young detective, was someone we hadn't seen in that specific type of show before.
Mhm.
And I think whilst people love mysteries and crime shows, like that's a very successful genre, we tried to do a kind of fresh take on it and put a young woman who is really relatable at its heart. And when we look at the, who did watch it and who did enjoy it, like it has a very female audience and it has quite a young audience. So it did feel like it brought people to the show that um,
That
felt like
genre that
it
maybe wouldn't
reflected.
otherwise have bothered.
Yeah, and I think also we really tried to put as much humor and warmth in as well, so it doesn't ever feel like a really dark show, even though we do go to really dark places. We try and have a lot of humanity and kind of as much wit as possible, so it doesn't feel like a grueling
I
experience.
think as a lot of people always say to me, she's just so normal. And I'm
Yeah,
sometimes a bit offended because I'm like, I would never want to be as a
I'm
person called normal.
extraordinary.
Yeah, but I think it's the fact that she is so normal in terms of being so relatable with so much of her life, but is doing these really extraordinary things that you can't imagine someone like that having to deal with, which is quite thrilling to watch. And I think people really put themselves in her shoes. And I think that's not, so I think normally with detective shows, the detective's slightly detached and they're often a kind of older man that's going through a drinking problem, hates his life, has a divorce, all that sort of thing. And you kind of go, yeah, well, no wonder he's hating solving a dark crime as well. But she's not like that. She's actually this like fun young woman who loves her job and is trying to have a boyfriend at work and wants to go to the pub at the end of the day, but is also solving the biggest missing persons case in the country's history.
And I think it felt authentic because that's me and Lauren as well. Like we were
Yeah,
putting
we're
ourselves into it. Like I'm putting everything that I think and feel into the show as if I was a detective, and then Lauren's putting another layer of everything that she thinks and feels about all of this. So I think it comes
yeah,
from a really like true place in us anyway.
yeah.
That is true, actually. Lauren, because you made a good point, because usually the detectives always have their dark side or that dark motive that
Yeah.
Mm.
keeps them going. And yeah, you're right. I think
Her
the
dark
only
motive is just to not listen to anyone and do whatever she wants, as opposed to what she's told. That's her darker side, I guess.
yeah. I mean, she does have her
Oh,
Oh,
raps.
have you lost? Oh, I
oh, can you
lost you
just
there,
repeat that
Nancy.
question?
Oh, sorry. It seems the
We
internet
lost you for a
connection's a
second.
little unstable. There is that secret of she's trying to have her love life a little bit under wraps, So there is a secret, but it's a good
Yeah.
kind.
Mm. The secret. I mean, yeah, I think that's also again something that so many people relate to, like trying to have a relationship at work. Because I think nowadays that's a really normal, it's always been a normal way of how you can meet someone. It's just become less and less acceptable that you are allowed to let that relationship develop at work and corporate worlds and whatever. And I can see why there's huge moral questions that come up with the two of them of Karen convincing Phil into doing things that he may not otherwise do if it wasn't for the fact he loved her. However, that's quite fun and delicious as well to watch a woman sort of
Navigate.
manipulate a man, but like not out of a place of out of spite or out of for a negative reason. It's sort of to get what she needs for the case, but knowing that he is also a brilliant detective himself, that he can do it, but that there are rules that he has to follow that she is essentially expecting him to ignore for her and put himself in jeopardy for her. Um, Kind of fun
Yeah.
to watch, I guess.
The mystery is definitely a fun thing and a relationship. Um, Emma, let me talk to you about, you're the writer also and EP,
Yeah,
but so how do you, and then we know that this is kind of like an adapted drama from the novels. So
yeah.
make them more real, like from today. So how is it challenging for you to utilize that as a foundation?
Well, I read them over and over and I kind of work out what really hits home for me from the books. And the author is brilliant and she's involved. So I can talk to her and I have her blessing to kind of, I've got to use the core tenets and the kind of main characters in a particular way. But with the plot of each book, I can kind of find what works for a TV show and then strip away stuff that wouldn't really work. So I feel quite free with that. Um, for me, it's just about finding the most compelling mystery. And so I did flip and change quite a lot from this book to come up with that opening where Kat and her son are kidnapped in that car. That's not how it is in the book, but for me, that felt like something that would really pull me in as a viewer. So I went with that, and that becomes the kind of spine of the story. And then there's some big, big twists along the way.
Now there's a part where Karen says that she's better at doing her job than talking about it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
very common,
yeah.
very common today. Can you talk a little bit about how your character is faced into that all the time and questioned? Um, and she has to be like explaining it, all the time or trying, and even to the characters that are so vulnerable.
Yeah, I think that's the part of the job that she doesn't like, or I think that's the part of the job that's often on display as the sort of not sometimes corrupt nature of her job is that it shouldn't always be about having to talk about it and having to explain yourself as to why you're doing something, that it should just be she's able to provide the answers without too much questioning. But I guess that's what it is to be a young woman in the force, that she has to sort of be answering to people all the time. Um and I guess that's what probably it is to be in the police as well. You have to have accountability, and they've got to be able to show accountability and that they're using proper methods. But I think it's frustrating for her because those proper methods that are the rules don't always work. So having to sort of talk about following them doesn't make sense to her and can be extremely frustrating. Um,
I
I
also
guess,
think she follows her gut a lot. Like
yeah,
she's following her gut, and then if you asked her to explain her theories, like she wouldn't necessarily even know why like it's like doing press when you're like, I just did that
yeah,
because I thought that would work, and then you look
yeah,
back and you go, oh yeah, that did work because of this, but at the time you don't quite know how you got there.
like
Do you know what I mean?
instinct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess sometimes, like, fair enough, that's not how the police is allowed to work, where you just go on instinct.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations with the second season. That's coming October 2nd. I can't wait to finish.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.